I was listening to LBC during the week.
Yeah.
So LBC stands for Leading Britain's Conversation, popular radio station, and one of the hosts was talking about basically the reason why Corbyn is so popular in this country, because last week the Chancellor, Philip Hammond, so that Chancellor is the one that's kind of responsible for the financial aspect of government. Yep. He said he was basically ribbing Corbyn, saying this guy is economic catastrophe waiting to happen, or he's I can't remember the exact terms he used. He basically just said he's a threat to the economic establishment.
Oh wow!
And Corbyn was like, "You damn right I am. I agree. Things are about to change." And the guy started having a conversation on the radio for Corbyn to agree to that. And we all know, like, Corbyn's policies is about, he likes unions, he wants to boost spending, and government doesn't really want to spend money because they're already in debt themselves. Yeah. So he was saying the reason, because young people voted for Labour government
in the election, they had a strong...
they completely destroyed the Conservatives. So he was saying maybe the reason that we've not been looking at this correctly is because we don't understand the principle properly of capitalism, which is the ability to own capital in the first place. Yep. Now, young people, the 18s to 34-year-olds, are now the least likely to have any capital.
That's correct.
Because the main way to own capital before was free property. Now you can't even get a mortgage. Yep. It's mad difficult to get a mortgage. So he was saying, of course they're going to vote for someone that's like trying to rip up the establishment and do something different. And so my question then is on the topic of capitalism, because this is how the West works. This is how we function. Yeah, we need capital. How do we solve the issue of young people not being able to get hold of capital?
That's a very good question. That is a very good question. As I say, because it's the millennial generation. We're actually going to be the first generation to do worse off than the previous generation. So that kind of sums it and speaks.
So big.
I don't know. I heard there's that old term which a lot of people are not privy to. They say the bank of mum and dad. Yeah. Which not everyone's lucky enough to be in that situation where basically to get onto the property ladder, they get their deposits through their mum and dad to help finance them for their deposit. Or you've got the help to buy schemes, which my personal opinion, they don't work, but they're out there. But in terms of something that's quite controversial actually, it's something that I've heard a few economists talk about, but it's the idea of helicopter money.
Okay, break that down.
So what helicopter money is that so for example, we've had quantitative easing. So what quantitative easing is that the Bank of England have been purchasing financial assets to help stimulate the economy and pump.
Okay, so you mean the Bank of England will essentially print money, go to all these banks and say, we want to buy the debt that companies owe you. Yeah. And by giving that money to the banks, it makes them...
And it's supposed to filter through into our pockets, Right,
okay.
But one controversial thing that I've heard is helicopter money. So what that is you bypass the financial system and put it into the pockets of the actual individuals.
Just straight onto me.
Yes.
Let it rain.
And that's because there's been arguments that quantitative easing's only worked for banks and the financial sector. Where if you actually
cut that middleman out
and put it into your own pocket, into people's pockets, that can help generate
or stimulate the economy.
Stimulate the economy that way. But catch-22 is how do you get people to spend that money?
Okay.
Because do you put restrictions on it and say it can only be spent on X, Y, Z? That's where the difficulty in trying to determine how that money works. Because in the sense, how helicopter would work in an idealistic sense, with that money, you would then use that to purchase assets such as shares, such as housing. That's what terms capital, and then you make that work for you.
Okay.
So, but being realistic, I don't think that's ever going to happen. That's not something I've only, I've just had, I've read a few articles of a few economists suggesting that, but I think that's a bit too controversial for it to actually take place.
To be honest, I kind of favor it because I can let's assume they even set this at like 10K. Give me that money, I will either go out and invest it because I know myself,
Yeah.
or I'll use it to pay down debt because
That's the key thing. You hit the nail on the head because you know yourself. That's it. I don't think the governments can take into account that everyone will use it or term wise because then everyone's personal needs are different as well. You need to take into consideration. So I think that's what's kind of hard to control. And then also, it could then also bring inflation into account because if everyone's got this 10K and everyone's going to spending, that's going to help.
Prices just got
So but then we're getting inflation anyway at the moment as well. So does it make a difference?
Just do it. Take the gamble.
Yeah.
I need all the help I can get. Okay. So helicopter money. Right, okay. Yeesh. Yeah. I hope they do it.
Good luck. But I think on all serious note, I think as you said, capitalism is what drives the Western economy. And for our generation, it's very minimal. As I said, we've got high levels of, we've discussed today, high levels of debt, house prices are too expensive. Like even saying people of ourselves that have gone to university, got good jobs, etc. Well, not even that, I didn't mean that because I think you don't have to go to university to get a good job, but people that are doing okay, are doing okay for themselves and still find it hard to get on the property ladder because then they're paying X amount in rent when that could service a mortgage because house prices are expensive to get that deposit in the first place. How are you going to get that? And then you're stuck in a cycle because you're paying rent, so you can't save
to then afford a mortgage.
To afford a mortgage. So you're stuck in an endless loop. As I said, I know they said they've done the help to buy schemes and things like that, but if you look actually underneath it and into the small print, as they say, it's not something that I personally feel is working or would go for.
It's funny that you should mention the fact of people not being able to get a mortgage because so that radio host, he said when he first got on the property ladder, I almost cried when I heard this. He said he got 105% mortgage.
Wow.
So just to break that down for you guys,
wow,
105% mortgage means he basically got 100% of the value of the property.
And more.
Plus 5% more to go
do what you want to.
Yeah, like buy the furniture, like just build the house.
Wow.
And that was only like 12 years ago. So it's just mad how things have just changed in such a short space of time. And now look at us, we can't even...
I'm just trying to comprehend that. I think, to put it in views with the 105% more, saying they've essentially given him, not free money because you still have to pay it back, but if he used that extra money wisely, he can do and make that work for him. Yeah. Where now you cut, 105%.
They're only going to give you maximum 85%?
Yeah. So, and that's if you're lucky.
Bro, things have changed, man. When I hear them kind of things, I want to cry. Cool.